John Mullins, and I'm pleased to announce that Bob Vogel of the Southeastern Massachusetts chapter is a recipient of the 2021 Volunteer Leadership Award. We are pleased to further recognize Bob's work, dedication, and commitment with the 2021 Volunteer Leadership Award. Thank you for all your work and congratulations, Bob.
Thank you. First, I want to thank the participants who have come on my hikes for these past 20 plus years. Hiking, biking, cross-country skiing, trail work, they're a lot of fun. But the fun of doing those things with a great group of AMC participants is what kept me coming back and leading trips for all these years. At this point, almost all of my best friends are people I've met through AMC. Secondly, I want to thank the AMC leaders who came before me. Without Charlie Farrell letting me bring my 9-year-old son on our first AMC hike, a 10-mile Warner Trail hike, none of this would have ever happened. Charlie was smart enough to realize that if a 9-year-old had backpacked a dozen 4,000 footers carrying his own gear, he could make 10 miles on the Warner Trail. And those that know Bobby, aka Rob, know that that was just a hint of what he could do. And thanks to those who showed me the ropes. So to Charlie Farrell, Dexter Robinson, Ray Butts, and the late Walter Wells, and others. Today happened because of you. Thank you. And also to the other SEM leaders who are coming up through the ranks when I joined. Thank you for being such great friends and fellow leaders. Erica Bloom, Linda Church, Brother Bill Rule, Steve Tulip, Patrick Holland, and many others whose name escape me right now. We had a lot of fun, led a lot of fun trips, and helped a lot of participants have some great adventures. Over the years, I've tried a lot of different series activities. The My First AMC Hike, or My First AMC Snowshoe, or cross-country ski, or bike trip. These series help people get involved. I started these back when the trips used to be listed in the back of the Outdoors magazine. And it used to say, don't just read these listings every month, come on this trip. And that was very successful and got a lot of people to get up off the couch and come out and actually come with us on trips. One of those people was Laura Smeaton, who came one day. And she went on and served as a Southeast Mass chapter cheerleader. So we got some good return on our investment on those trips. The Wednesday evening hiking series ran for several years. We had a lot of fun on those trips, hiking all over Southeast Mass, 6 to 8 on Wednesday evenings. And that went until I got a job in Randolph, and I couldn't get out of work until 5 o'clock. And that made it impossible to hike all over the Southeast Mass at 6 o'clock. So, as a result of that, I decided to start a series of hikes at the Blue Hills. Redline the Blue Hills, which started in 2006, is still going strong. Well, as strongly as anything could go this year. And it even led to a spin-off series led by Paul Brooks and Kathy McCurtain, the White Line, the Blue Hills winter hiking series. I'm proud to say if you look back the list of hiking chairs and chapter chairs of Southeast Mass since 2006, you find that most of them have been involved in Redline at some point. Many getting involved or re-involved in AMC through that series. Redline has also supplied a lot of other chapter offices over these years. I truly believe that series activities lead to a bonding that doesn't happen when you just have activities where you go on them with random AMC people, even if they are great random people. Seeing those same people every week, the series hikes become like an extended family. There's also the Borderland Full Moon series. Many AMC members don't get the opportunity to hike in the woods in the dark at night, and it is a different experience. This has been another series that's had a long, dedicated history. And although I started those series, they wouldn't be what they are now without those who helped me run them and those who helped carry them on. So a very special thank you to Joe Keogh for carrying on the Redline the Blue Hills, and Bill Cannon for carrying on the Full Moon hikes. And to Cheryl Lathrop, Nancy Coote, Dick Carnes, and others for all their help when I was running those series. Discovering Nature was a series where we went out and tried to learn about the flora and the fauna. And some of what we learned I still remember. Thanks to Ellen Correa, I will never, ever forget Interrupted Fern. And thanks to Chad Woller's documentation, I can still go back and quickly look up those things which I had seen and learned about, but which you can't remember from year to year. If they were all as easy to remember as yellow stargrass, life would be easier. What color is it? Yellow. What shape is the flower? Star. What do the leaves look like? Grass. Yellow stargrass. Bingo. Evening trail work at Borderland. That ran for a couple of years, and we worked one night a week going to Borderland, helping DCR by clearing all the trails which had become overgrown. And there were also evening trail works at the Blue Hills. The Stroll Down Memory Lane series was a series of easy hikes the afternoon of the Southeast Mass annual meeting. And that provided a good opportunity for old-timers to get back together, go for an easy walk, or, if it was pouring rain, gather in Dunkin' Donuts. A lot of fun stories were told on those hikes, and they also served to help keep old friendships alive and keep old-time members involved in the chapter. During 2019 and 2020, I was leading monthly beginner backpacks. We now have a few experienced backpackers who had never slept in a tent before, and one, although she did go on a backpack, who still hasn't slept in a tent, right, Natalie? And then winter came, and beginner backpacks logically became beginner winter backpacks, with a chance for new backpackers to go out in the winter. And if you're going to go to New Hampshire and have a backpack, why not leave a day early and do a 52 of the View hike on your way up? Lastly, but certainly not least, is the infamous What the Heck kind of a hiking series is this? Tuesday from 10 to 2 at the Blue Hills, which was scheduled to complete its very first year of hikes on the day that AMC canceled all activities. For those that weren't involved, well, this series was a very interesting series. Start with the simple. Every Tuesday, hike at the Blue Hills from 10 to 2, in the Red Line tradition. Apologies to Erica Bloom, but doing the same north-south skyline loop and over to Buck Hill and back every week, it's just so boring. We would develop a different route each week and go somewhere different. Weather, dress for or stay home. We're not canceling. I remember sitting in my car one morning and the rain was just beating down on the roof, thinking, well, maybe nobody will show up and I'll be able to just go home. I looked in the rearview mirror, Joanne Newton, then Sandy Johnson, then Patty Everett. Oh well, I guess we're hiking. And we did, and we had a great day of it. I wouldn't have missed that for anything. Are you having fun today?
Yeah.
Then, to add a bit to the normal kind of a hiking series, What the Heck kind of a hiking series is this? Also included other things like trail work. Small tree down across the trail? I'm not going to walk all the way back out here and cut it down later. Somebody get my saw out, give it to me, let's get that tree cut down, have a drink while I do it. And as soon as I got the tree cut, John Sheepus would have that tree off and into the woods before I could even get my saw put away. And walking down the trails, I was flipping sticks off. Watch out for my hiking poles. There are no trail elves to come out here during the night and do this for us. We got to do this trail work ourselves if you want to be hikers and come out and have good trails to hike on. It's important for hikers to learn about trail work and to see it. Map reading and trip leading. I remember the first week, as we were leaving the parking lot, I casually asked one of the participants how they were at map reading. They said something like, I'm a 3. I said, good, here's the map. You're in charge of finding our way. Their response was, that was a 3 out of 10. But that set the tone, and each week we'd have volunteers lead us. This was a very participatory hiking series. And there were always others following along on their map, trying to help keep track of where we were going so that we never got lost. seldom got lost, always got back. It's true that those first few weeks, we may have set a record for the most time stopped at intersections while everybody was trying to orient their map and figure out where we were supposed to be going. But that's how everybody learned to read their maps and be self-sufficient, which has come in very handy this year when there haven't been the trips to go on and many of the participants are out hiking by themselves. And when there were issues and we weren't sure where we were, does anybody have a smartphone? Do you have maplets and the Blue Hills map downloaded? You don't? Well, here, let me show you what it is and how you can use that to help find your way around in the Blue Hills. Or someone would say, I don't understand all these elevation lines on the maps. What do they all mean? Well, I just happen to have this hand-carved model of a mountain. Let's use it to develop a topographic map, and you can learn how topographic maps relate to the terrain we're hiking over. We also helped a lot of aspiring leaders by getting them co-leads so they could become leaders and made them do all the work on those trips. And we helped new leaders who had become leaders lead in a safe environment where they knew they had other people around who could bail them out if there were issues, and they could practice and get more confident so that when they went out on their own, they'd know they could handle anything that came up. What the heck kind of a hiking series is this specialized in making things work? You really don't want to hike the 4 hours every week? Well, let's find a competent leader, co-leader who feels the same way, and we'll figure out routes where you people can exit early and have an easy route back to the cars. The series was a register once, come when you want series. So that meant that the group size would vary, depending on how challenging the hike was going to be that week, what the weather forecast was. There was one week where we had a pre-hike for people who wanted to come early and hike some of the trails around the Houghton Pond parking lot before the hike started at 10. When we came back at 9:55 to pick up the people who had shown up later, the rest of the folks were there and we found the parking lot swarming with hikers. We were now a group of 27. No problem. We always split the group when there were more than 15 or so. So we just split the group into two, and Dexter took one of the groups. Thank you, Dexter. What the heck kind of a hiking series is this? Never had leadership issues. When we started, the core group included multiple leaders, and with all the encouragement to learn how to lead, many of who started out as mere participants took leadership training, and by the end of the series, when we were shut down, they had already run well on their way, and many had become approved leaders. And the after-hike hikes. 4 hours isn't enough? Well, we can go pick up some of these trails that somebody needs in order to finish their map, or we can go exploring looking for some feature in the Blue Hills, the Eustis Well, Pacabet Spring, and one of the remains of one of the earliest rest areas for automobiles, the Hemlock Bound. You probably walked right past that and don't even realize it. We know what it is. Joanne Newton, Karen Foley, John Sheepus, and sometimes others were always ready for extra miles. Why hike 4 hours when you can hike 5 or more? And when AMC activities shut down, well, all that research into Blue Hills history shouldn't go to waste. Why not write a weekly Blue Hills history article to read on Tuesdays if we can't all hike together? Over the years, I've been involved in a range of other non-activity leader things. I served as Southeast Mass Education Chair and worked to develop the Southeast Mass Leadership Training course with role models based on the role plays that I had taken part in as part of my leadership training with the Boston chapter. Ever since my term as Education Chair, I've always enjoyed helping other leaders or co-leaders become leaders, giving them the opportunity to lead hikes and do all the work. As Southeast Mass Education Chair and as Boston HB Wilderness First Aid Coordinator, I arranged many solo wilderness first aid courses to be taught both locally as well as at the solo facilities in New Hampshire. I also served as the Southeast Mass Vice Chair and Chapter Chair. And then there have been all the leadership training, hiking and backpacking workshops, and winter hiking workshops that we've run so many times. And then there was Bob's Hike Leader Continuing Education newsletter for leadership training grads and anyone else needing a refresher. Hopefully it helped answer some questions and motivated leadership training grads to go on and get their co-leads and become active AMC leaders. So the past 20 years have been a tremendous amount of fun. Yes, also a whole lot of work. Sometimes stress, and occasionally aggravation. But the fun has always made it worth it. Thank you, everyone. It's been a great 20 plus years.
I'm John Mullins, and I'm pleased to announce that Bob Vogel of the Southeastern Massachusetts chapter is the recipient of the 2021 Volunteer Leadership Award. Bob is known for introducing people to the out of doors. He's led many trips to the Blue Hills Reservation and created a Tuesday morning hiking series to get people out weekly close to home. When the series was interrupted in March, Bob helped people continue to get out by providing weekly hike recommendations. He designed these as educational experiences to help hikers learn about how to lead and plan, how to read maps, and how to decipher trail intersections. Bob also designed an Introduction to Backpacking series. This step-by-step experience started in his backyard. Bob set up a variety of tents and other equipment so people could compare and learn. He then organized progressively more challenging experiences in New Hampshire, starting with a beginner trip, the first time some had slept in the woods. Subsequent trips increased participants' knowledge and skills through experiential learning. While on these trips, he helped everyone with what they needed, making sure they were well prepared and even loaned out equipment. When outdoor activities were canceled in March, Bob started writing weekly articles on the history of the Blue Hills, now published in the chapter newsletter. Like everything he does, these articles are accurate, educational, and sprinkled with Bob's sense of humor and fun. Bob was awarded Volunteer of the Month award by his chapter, and we are pleased to further recognize Bob's work, dedication, and commitment with the 2021 Volunteer Leadership Award. Thank you for all your work and congratulations, Bob.